Hey everyone, welcome to Pageant Professors. Today we're going to give you a little overview on what you can expect in your pageant interview. I think this is one of the most important parts of the competition because, we were talking about this earlier, and it really sets the tone for your performance for the rest of the weekend. It's the only time that the judges have to meet the contestants before their on-stage performance, and they really want to get an idea of who's going to be a great representative of the pageant system and, of course, the community.
I agree. I think we've all heard this saying, you never get a second chance at a first impression, and that could not be more true than when you're a pageant interview.
Yeah.
This is really the opportunity. Everybody in your competition is going to have a gorgeous gown, and they're going to have a great body, but here is your opportunity to really set yourself apart from the pack. Tell them who you are, what you're about, and why you should be the next title holder. I cannot stress enough. If you've ever been on a job interview or taken classes in school that prepare you for job interviews, this is very much a job interview. The title, being a title holder and having that crown is a job, and you have to be professional and you have to be a representative of your organization, just like if you're an employee at the company. So you have to treat this like a job interview. And as much as people get worried about, oh my gosh, how am I going to handle what questions they ask?
Right.
Biggest thing that you can do is know yourself, because how can you ever get a question wrong about who you are? You know who you are. The judges don't know who you are, but here's the opportunity to show them. So there really isn't, I've heard wrong answers, but there really isn't too many wrong answers. Right. As long as you're being honest and true to yourself. So we're going to give you a quick overview of what you can expect that will help you relax, keep calm, and get a better sense for what you're in for.
Yeah, I think, personally, it's one of the most relaxing and stress-free parts of the competition because there's no one in the room other than yourself and the judges. There's not 50 girls behind you waiting to be seen on stage in their evening gown or their swimsuit. It's really just one-on-one time, and I think it's great that you get that opportunity to do so.
Yeah, exactly. You always hear in competitions where they say, you are your own competitor, your biggest competition, you're competing against yourself. And that's true in a lot of the competition, but it could not be more true than the judges. You're in there by yourself for the most part. We'll talk about the different formats, but it really is you against your. The only person that can ruin the interview is yourself. So you don't have any real competition there.
Exactly. So you mentioned format.
Yeah.
And the most popular formats that we've seen and we've competed in are the one-on-one interview or the panel interview.
Right.
So the panel is when you're seated or standing in front of a table behind which there are, a number of judges behind that table. And the one-on-one is obviously you're sitting one-on-one with a judge and having a great conversation, hopefully.
Each of these can also vary depending on the system. The USA system has the panel interview for the most part in the state pageants, and you're sitting down and you're talking with a panel of judges, or standing there and talking to a panel of judges. And the timing can fluctuate. I've seen pageants that don't have a ton of contenders where you get 5 minutes, and then if they have a lot of contestants, it could be 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Exactly, 90 seconds in California, I think.
Yeah, that was and so think about that. We've already been going for more than 90 seconds.
Right.
Trying to.
Goes by like that.
Yeah, especially when you're nervous. It's not just 90 seconds of your talking time, they have to pose the question, and then you have to answer. So that time flies by really quickly, whereas panels, especially if they're, or not panels, one-on-ones, especially if they're a round robin one-on-one, they can get you, it's where you sit down with each judge individually, and they get time with you, and that can also range from 90 seconds to 5 minutes. The Miss International system, I believe, is 5 minutes
with each judge.
To talk about your platform and whatnot. So it varies, and it allows you, I think, going into it, asking those questions at your orientation or looking it up online, asking the director will give you a huge advantage of how to prepare time-wise. If you've got a lot to say but only 90 seconds, you're really going to want to work on how to get your message in there in a short amount of time.
Yeah, so which one do you prefer? I think that the panel interview can be a little intimidating because it is you in front of 5 people that are firing questions at you one after the other, but it might be a shorter interview. So on one sense, it's a little intimidating, but on the other, you might have less time. Exactly.
See, but I actually don't like, if anyone's noticed, I like to talk.
Oh.
So
I didn't notice. Not one bit.
Oh, so it's, the one-on-one works for me because I feel, I cannot tell you, every single time I've walked out of a panel interview, I've been like, oh darn, I wanted to talk about this, I wanted to talk about that, I didn't get to answer that question fully, or If they ask me something and I was like, no, that's like a fluff question that doesn't really tell you anything about me.
Exactly.
I always get so frustrated. I mean, there's obviously ways to nail it. I need more time. How about you? What do you think?
I like the round robin also. I
Yeah.
think it's, again, less intimidating, but it also allows you to have a conversation one-on-one with someone for, 3 to 5 minutes.
Right.
And it really allows you to connect with those judges on a more personal level.
Right. I mean, I've always found that doing the round robin allows you to have, like, really develop a relationship. It's like a quick getting to meet someone. You're allowed to have the back and forth a little bit more versus just, where they're firing questions at you and you're just like, yes, no, ready.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
I like it. So what do we have next after format?
We have just overall appearance.
Oh,
You
yes.
said in the introduction that it was a job interview, and as such, you want to look the part, and you want to really think about the image that you're portraying and how you can emit that through your wardrobe, your shoes, your styling, everything.
Right. No, I agree. It's one of those things that I think I've seen, and I have to preface this with your interview outfit should be influenced a lot by what system you're competing in.
Yeah.
If it's a very modern, not casual, but if it's a more modern systems will allow a lot more flexibility in what you can wear, where it doesn't necessarily have to be a business suit or business attire. It could be, we've even seen at Miss USA, I think a couple years ago, where a contestant wore jeans and a cute top.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of flexibility there, where if you have a conservative pageant system, you really can't, deviate too much from the standard outfits.
Right.
So that should be your first, figuring out what pageant system you're competing in and going from there. But I really like, I don't know how I feel about the jeans. I feel like you risk someone on a 5-person, 4 may like it, but you risk one person being like, okay, this person did not take the time.
No. And I feel like if you wear jeans, you're not really taking it seriously.
Right.
You want to be taken seriously. Or at least I do, and you want to look the part. You would never go to a regular job interview in jeans.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, and as someone who's recently doing lots of job interviews, there is a way to maintain your femininity. Just, I listed this on the website as one of my pageant don'ts or my worst pageant regrets, but I wore a suit to Miss California USA that was awful. It was from BB. It was a gorgeous suit. I did not have it tailored. It still had the shoulder pads in. It was so boxy, it didn't fit me. It was a off-white color, it didn't look good on me. I mean, so you can wear a suit, but that doesn't mean it needs to be a frumpy, non-fitted, something that you feel like you're playing dress up in.
Right.
You can have something that's a great color, or even if it's a black suit, have, a hot pink shirt underneath, or a turquoise shirt, and accessorize it. And, not to the point where someone mistakes you for going to a club. We've also seen... we've seen cocktail dresses in a job interview.
We've seen everything in the spectrum, for sure.
It's run the gamut. So you have to find this balance of being modern, but not overly trendy. Because I've also seen, neon yellow shoes with,
that's interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
That's really all I can do.
I mean, I think much like in our evening gown trends video, with every kind of trend, with anything that's not very typical, you run the risk of someone saying, I really don't like that. So rather than polarizing your judging panel and possibly dividing up people, I mean, if you just stay with something that's feminine and attractive but still professional, people are going to be focusing less on your leopard print yellow shoes and more on what you're saying, which is the key for the 90 seconds or the 5 minutes.
Definitely. I mean, I wore a suit at Miss United States when I was there for nationals, and it's a pretty conservative pageant system considering the range of systems that are out there. And it was a black and white suit, and it had ruffles at the collar, which is great. And, it was a way for me to express my personal style and my professionalism in my outfit.
So there was actually one of the interview outfits that stand out to me was a friend who I actually haven't talked to in a long time. Maybe she'll see us. Her name was Deventure Howard. And when I competed at Miss California, I think it was 2006, 2007. Oh my gosh. I gotta go back and look. Maybe it was 2004. Oh my God. But she was first runner up there. And I remember, keep in mind, this is my first state pageant. So I was way out of my league. And I was just in awe of everything going around me.
Yeah.
But Deventure had this two-piece knit suit that was like a coral color, and she had beautiful dark tan skin, and she had the collar. She had it custom made. The collar was like raised.
Yeah,
and she had her hair up, and she just looked so regal.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't. It was fashionable. I mean, she looked like she could have been walking in a runway show,
Right.
but it was still professional. It had the feminine color, but it was, you know, it was kind of like the best of all worlds.
Yeah.
And so that is my go-to. When I try to look for an interview outfit now, I will always try to recreate, would Deventra Howard wear this? And if she would, I know I'm in a good place.
Exactly.
And, you know, go over there.
Yeah, you want to be comfortable, but again, you want to ask yourself, what does this outfit say about me? Because, you know, there are some nonverbal cues that you're going to be emitting to the judges,
Right.
and, you know, the number one thing is going to be what you look like and what your hair looks like and what you're wearing.
Yeah, Allie had a great tip, and I think her suggestion was, dress for your interview. Would you be comfortable if Donald Trump himself walked in? Would you be comfortable if the president walked in? Would you be comfortable if Zac Efron walked in? Like, you have to, and it is a balancing act, and I think that's what pageant girls are fantastic at, is really being a jack of all trades, but you really have to find a way to balance something that is modern, youthful, and fresh, but still translates into being professional and you're a good representative for the organization.
Exactly.
There's so much more we can talk about. And
I'm just recalling the first outfit that I wore at Miss Maryland USA, and I'll probably bring it in so we can take some photos of it. But it was a brown tweed dress, and I had matching brown pumps to go with it. I should never be wearing brown, first of all.
But it's hard to, like, you want to be professional. I've done that. I've worn the brown suit. Like,
We've all
my
been there.
off-white suit.
We've all been there.
Yeah, no, it's really, but then I mean, my favorite interview outfit of mine is the one, and I wear this dress all the time, is it's from Cachet. It was just a higher round neck, hot pink, had some gold detailing on the waist, but it was, I had it fitted to me, so it was the appropriate length.
Right.
It wasn't distracting. I mean, no one could be like, it wasn't something that was so polarizing that someone would be like, I hate that dress.
Yeah.
But I did get compliments on it. It was just, it was there enough to be recognized, but not enough to, like, have people question
what
I was doing.
When I think of the first time I met you, I was sitting at rehearsals at Miss Maryland. This is a little off topic. We don't
ever get off topic.
We were sitting at rehearsals at Miss Maryland USA. You had just gotten out of your interview, and you sashayed across this ballroom in your pink cachet dress, and I just sat there, like, eyes wide open. And I thought to myself, this girl's in it to win it. I don't know who she is, but I need to be her friend. And
years later,
the rest is history.
I love it.
True story.
I do love that dress. That is like my go-to feel. And that's, one last thing, because I know we can do an entire separate segment just on how to pick this.
Sure.
But the biggest thing I think is to feel comfortable in it. I've worn suits where I feel, even now at 28 years old, where, oh my God, I'm 28 next week, where I feel like I'm playing dress up, and then I'm uncomfortable, and I'm tugging at stuff, and I'm, fidgeting, and you don't want that. You want to wear something, even if it may not fit the bill perfectly, it's so much better to be comfortable and confident in what you're wearing than to wear something that you don't feel like yourself in.
Right.
So because the judges, or the judging portion of the competition is just showing who you are, if you're not wearing something that you would normally wear, then you shouldn't wear it to interview.
I agree. Did you know that there are some really common mistakes that girls make during the evening gown portion of their competition? Click on the link in the description below and you'll be taken to our website for a free 30-minute long training course. By the end of it, you'll learn how to avoid these common mistakes and master the evening gown portion of your competition today.